Good afternoon, everybody. It's Miss Morgan from the Williston Community Library bringing you today's STEAM activity. So today we are going to do build your own monsters. So if you've got a bag from us, it includes a bunch of different things like a toilet paper tube, some straws, some paper, and some coffee filters, as well as cupcake liners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started on my monster, and you can choose whether you want your monster to just be on a piece of paper or if you want to use the toilet paper tube and like create it however you want to do it. It can be 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I want mine to be made with my toilet paper tube. So I'm going to trim my paper so that I know how big it needs to be to fit around my toilet paper tube. So what I did, if you didn't see that, was I laid it down and then I just clipped down towards the bottom of the toilet paper tube. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue all over it. You guys have glue sticks because I think they'll work a little better than my regular glue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll my toilet paper tube up here. So this is going to be my monster's body. And you're going to want to hold it if you're using the toilet paper tube for a little bit. That way it sticks a little better. And now I'm going to figure out what I want to use for my arms. And I think I'm going to use my straws for my monster's arms. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting my straws to how big I want my arms to be. So I'm trimming these up here. And then it's going to be kind of hard to glue them on like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of cut little slots. That way I can go like this and it'll be easier to glue my arm on. And I'm going to go ahead and do both arms before I start gluing stuff on. That way my toilet paper tube has a little bit more time to dry. So I've got my arms figured out, but I think I want my monster to have 4 arms. And I want 2 yellow and I want 2 purple. And I think my purple arms, I think my purple arms are going to be a little bit longer than my yellow arms. So I've got them, and I'm doing the same thing. That way, it's easier to glue them on. And if you're using the paper straws, just be a little careful. Mine just kind of ripped a little. So you'll just want to be a little bit careful. All right, so now I've got my arms, and I have my toilet paper tube here. So I'm going to put my glue, and I think I want one arm to be here, and maybe one arm to be here. And I think I want my shorter arm on the bottom. My arms might not stay. I don't think my arms are going to stay. I think I'm going to use a feather for my arms then. I think my straws are a little bit too heavy. So now I'm going to just use my straw, or my feather. feather's gonna be my arm, so it'll be kind of like a bird monster. And sometimes things don't stick on them, but that's part of how we learn. We experiment with things. Just like my arms didn't stick, and so I experimented with something different. So I've got my arms on there, and I think I'm going to give my monster some hair. My monster is going to have orange hair. You should have some string in your kit as well. I think I'm going to go like this and fold mine up and cut it that way. That way they're all about the same length. But you can do whatever you would like with yours. So I went ahead and I put some glue. I don't know if you can see that. I went ahead and put some glue, and I'm just going to take my string and I'm just going to place my string around my monster. And these are going to take a little bit of time to dry, so you might just leave them sit for a little bit, or if you have a way to get it to dry quicker, that works too. Sorry, I'm trying to get the glue off my hands. And I think my monster's gonna wear a hat. And I don't even think I have to glue my hat on. And my monster's gonna have 2 eyes. Your monster can have 4, 6, 8, however many eyes you would like. So here is my monster so far. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. It didn't work. I'll bring it a little bit closer to the camera once I'm done. That way you can see it a little better. And I think I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to glue it maybe on around my monster's hat. And I think my monster's gonna have a star for its mouth. You guys should have some pom-poms and different things like that that you could use like as a mouth, or you can draw a mouth on. Be as creative as you would like. And I think I'm going to cut my popsicle stick, and then my popsicle sticks are going to be my feet. Maybe my monster will have 4 feet, since I couldn't do my 4 arms. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my glue on what are going to be my monster's feet. And I think once I'm done gluing my feet on, that my monster will be complete. Oh, it might be easier like I did my hat. I think that's how I'm going to do my feet. Because otherwise I don't think my popsicle sticks will stay on. So I think my monster is all done. So I'm finished. You might not have finished building your monster just yet, which is totally fine. Mine didn't take too long because it's going to take time for it to dry. So it'll still take a little bit longer for it to dry. But while it's drying, I'm going to read Monster Parade. And this is by Shanna Corey, illustrated by Will Terry. The air outside is cold. The leaves are turning gold. Hooray, hooray, the children say. And look, oops, sorry guys. And look, they're playing outside and it's getting nice and cool. They've got pumpkins. Time for pumpkins, time for treats, time for costumes, time for sweets. And they're making caramel apples, they're making a hat. Time to sing and time to shout. Time for monsters to come out. Monsters big and monsters small. Monsters walk and monsters crawl. And look at all of these different kinds of monsters. Silly monsters, scary monsters, happy monsters, and hairy monsters. Furry monsters, fluffy monsters, purple monsters, and puffy monsters. Monsters hungry, monsters eat, monsters find a tasty treat. Monsters munching, monsters crunching, monsters chomping, and monsters stomping. Monsters go from door to door, the street's a giant candy store. They fill their bags with more and more. Then one monster starts to snore, and there's a little kid, a little monster that has fallen asleep. Soon another starts to drop. She drifts to sleep on her front stop. It's getting very late. Monsters try to stay awake. Now the moon is high and bright. Monsters start to say goodnight. And look, they're all heading in. Monsters wave goodbye to friends. The day is at end. Sleepy monsters tucked in tight. Good night, monsters. Sweet dreams tonight. The end. All right, so everyone who's doing their activities at home, if you'd like to send us pictures, we would love to see the way that your monsters turn out and see how creative you are. Thank you so much for joining us for today's STEAM activity, and we'll see you all later.